Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where it is that time. I will be ranking the top 5 knives available on Amazon as chosen by you guys, the viewers, and then giving them away. All 5 of these knives are going to be going to new homes as just an appreciation and thank you guys for your support of the channel and your participation in this video. I greatly appreciate it. There's more stuff like this coming down the road, but for right now, let's get into this one right here and let's get going. This was really hard to really rank these 5 knives. Some of them was a little easier than others, but the top 2 were extremely difficult. Before I get into this list too, I also want to mention these knives are all also going to be listed in the description again below. Link down there for you guys. If you're not lucky enough to score one, you can hop down there, pick one up, and throw it in your pocket and have yourself a nice new EDC. So those are linked below for purchase. But now let's get right into it. At number 5, and at first, when I first started ranking these, I thought number 5 was going to be a very easy one, and it wasn't. 5 and 4 was also very tough. Number 5 is the Honey Badger, and it was so close. At first, I had the Honey Badger at number 4 after some handling and just some quick thoughts. I did have the Honey Badger at 4th, but then I had to push it back to 5th. I'll explain part of it when I get to number 4, but the real reason that set this knife to number 5 was just the FRN scales. I really hate FRN scales, especially when you have the Honey Badger, brand logo thing in the middle of the palm. It reminds me of the Spyderco, and you guys know I love Spyderco, but when it comes to stuff like this, it's just cheesy. I think it looks cheesy on Spydercos, and I think it looks cheesy on this Honey Badger. So that was really what pushed it back. In all honesty, it was just the material and the way they went about these scales. Another thing that I love the finger choil on this. I don't know how much I like this jimping. I just don't think it's necessary. I don't know. I think it would aggravate your finger more than it would benefit it in any way. This jimping up here is fantastic. It could actually go out a little farther, and that'd be great. But this jimping does everything you need that this jimping could do. All this is going to do is kind of wear away on your finger. I don't know why they did that, so I would get rid of that. I would obviously use some G10. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if Honey Badger ever took this design and what they have going on here, and they put, anything better than an 8CR, 14C28N, 154CM, something like that, took that kind of steel, some G10, kept this action, got rid of this jimping on the finger choil, you would have yourselves an instant classic. People would love this. This knife would be hard to keep in stock because it would be selling like crazy. Even if it was, $75, this would be worth every penny of $75 with the G10 and upgraded steel. It would be amazing. But as it is, it's still great because you're only looking at $34. That $34 gets you a 3-inch blade with a 4-inch handle, 8CR13 MOV steel, and it weighs 2.96 ounces. So it has favorable stats. It measures up. It looks great. Just needs those couple improvements, and I think this would be a home run. But even as it is, it's still a great knife. And for $34, it's one of the better $34 knives I've ever held, ever experienced. The action on this guy is just absolutely killer. It sounds great. It acts great. It's really crazy. I was not expecting this. I've always heard people talk about how awesome the Honey Badger is. I just didn't believe it because first and I'll be honest, I was immediately turned off by these scales. I never really cared about them because of these scales. I feel the same way about anything else with FRN scales and branding like that on it. It's a huge turnoff for me. But this is really a solid knife. It's a very solid knife. Probably make a really good beater knife. Has a pretty good edge on there that is slicey enough for most of your EDC purposes. Action ergos are killer. And like I said, if Western Active would upgrade this model, they would have themselves a game changer. It would be a new contender because it really is fantastic as is. You do have to open this guy and clean it up. It was dirty as all get out. But once I did that, super snappy. It's just so good. This is the Honey Badger, and this is actually the medium drop point style blade. Another thing that's also worth pointing out is, that middle finger action is, the detent on this guy is super solid. So darn good. I could do that all day. It broke in really well. It really is fantastic. I'm even actually kind of, I think, internally persuading myself that maybe this is number 4. But in this video right here, it is number 5, the Honey Badger by Western Active. Next up at number 4, we have the Tangram Vector. Now this one I thought for sure. I originally had this at number 5 because the action was crap. It was real slow and gummy. I really don't like the lack of grip you have on this scale, but then everyone kept telling me, just open it up and clean it, you know, give it a little TLC and you're going to love it. And I'm going to say, yeah, it's, I opened it up, I cleaned out the copious amounts of sludge and gunk that was in it because it was very dirty on the insides, but I was pleasantly surprised. This knife here is coming in with a 2.9-inch blade, 3.64-inch handle. This has a Kudo 440 steel. I'm assuming that's some type of Japanese or Chinese 440C, something comparable. I really don't know, though. This is my first time ever having a knife with this steel, so I can't speak on too much real knowledge of it, but the steel is a Kudo 440. 3.34 ounces, and again, $31. So $31 for this knife. This is the best button lock I've ever experienced for $31. Pretty easily. I do love the design. It's an absolutely fantastic design. It looks great. I would never want a blade with more recurve than this, but it has just that slight recurve that I think looks really good. It really goes with the overall flow of the knife, and it still makes for a very versatile, good use blade. Just an absolutely excellent offering for $31. And what this guy really needs, and it absolutely needs it, is it really needs more grip. This lack of grip is just kind of annoying. It's really slippery. But, I mean, it's obviously, you get a good enough grip to deploy the blade and fidget with it. It's, you know, it depends what you're doing with it. If you're just using it regularly, if you're walking around the office with it and you're just, you know, cutting envelopes, paper boxes, you probably aren't going to miss it that much. But if you're doing any type of, you know, skilled labor work, where you're really working with a knife, you're not going to want this. The grip just isn't there. Really nice to middle finger flick. Surprisingly nice. I wasn't expecting it. It just fits really well in my hand for that middle finger flick, so I like that a lot. It does have that washer feel. A viewer mentioned that. He said, you know, just remember, it's not going to have those free-flying bearing feel. It's gonna feel like it's on washers, and it does. It does feel like it's on washers, but that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I don't hate that. I'm actually coming to like it on this knife. The drop shut factor is pretty good. There's no blade play. Solid blade, no wiggle whatsoever, front or back, whatever. It's good. Some people worry about that with button locks. Not a worry with this one. Just a really, really nice offering. Just really wish it had more grip. If this had more grip, it would be an excellent, excellent, excellent EDC. But the way it is with the slipperiness on the handle, it may not be for everybody. I do still really like it though. And just a really big fan. I like that Tangram logo too. I gotta say, there's something, it's different. I don't know what it reminds me of, something else. I don't know exactly what yet, but all in all, just a very, very well thought out, attractive design from Tangram, which I think everybody knows by now. I believe it is still, unless things have changed. It's like the baby company of Kaiser, run by Kaiser. So it definitely has some of those Kaiser quality attributes that I've come to know and love. So this is the Tangram Vector, and it really is. It's a solid knife. If it had better grip, if this had like G10 or some type of little better materials, this could very well be number 1 on the list. I do like it that much. But it just has a couple drawbacks for what it is. Still a fantastic knife for $31 though, the Tangram Vector. Now, moving into number 3, this was the only knife that it was its natural spot for me. It was an easy pick at number 3, and that's the Kooby Vagrant. Now, this Vagrant right here, I should probably also, you guys have probably caught on by now, I'm also kind of doing a flash review of these knives, listing some of the more important specs. This Kooby Vagrant right here, it has a blade coming in at 2.95 inches, a 4.13-inch handle, AUS 10 steel, which is some pretty darn good steel. It's a really nice budget steel. It's a Japanese steel. Pretty good corrosion resistance, holds a good edge, decent stuff. 4.14 ounces, and a total price of $50.99. So a little more expensive compared to the first two we just saw. But if you guys know Kooby, I think you're going to know it's worth it. This action, more so on the deployment, yeah, that actually wasn't even, I had to kind of work my finger in there. There we go. It makes a good sound. It's very smooth. This guy is running on bearings, and you feel it. Rolls very, very nice. Did not even have to open this knife up and clean it. I have not opened this knife up yet at all. Kooby does a really good job with their QC. Very impressed by that. Kooby has just that fantastic action. I would like to see maybe some type of a minimal flipper or something on this, because the middle finger flick is really nice. I'm doing it just fine. I don't really have any complaints. But I feel like this knife could really benefit from a second form of deployment, whether it even be a thumb disc or a flipper, anything, maybe even, actually, yeah, a front flipper would work really well on this knife. It feels really good in hand, so a front flipper would be awesome too. But even as is, with just the cutout for deployment, I'm totally okay with that. This is just a really solid user knife. It's super durable. It's definitely thicker. Let me grab the Honey Badger here and just kind of comparing the thicknesses of the two. Actually, it does kind of look the same, but it feels thicker in hand because the Honey Badger is contoured, so you kind of definitely gets a little slimmer on the sides, as to where the Kooby is not, so it's flat, and it really does fill your hand really well. No choil, not one where you don't really need it though. It has just that really nice sheep's foot blade. Very nice, surprisingly good slicer for what it is. I would definitely consider this a pretty slicey blade, and just again, a good one you can use and beat on. It's got that solid build that will make everything okay to do just that with. This is a really good one. Another Kooby. I have yet to experience a Kooby that I really didn't like. There's some I like more than others, but I've never been disappointed by one, and I think that's important to specify, because I've just about every brand has given me a product that I was a little disappointed in. Kooby has yet to do that. So if Kooby is one of those brands you guys haven't experienced yet, and you've been curious about, highly, highly, highly recommend checking it out. Great brand, good quality, good price. This is the Kooby Vagrant, and you can pick it up from Amazon in the link below. This guy here is coming in at number 3. Now, the top 2, and these were the two that, in all honesty, these are the two best. It's pretty clear cut to me. I went back and forth because there was some attributes I really liked about one, and then there was another one that kind of had that new factor that was really pulling me into it, but it just couldn't put it at number 1 for me. So number two is the Suncut Scepter, and I gotta say, guys, I'm not disappointed with this knife one bit. This was the most recommended knife by you guys. And y'all know your knives. Let me tell you, this is an excellent little knife. It feels good in hand. It's got that nice little choily area, kind of like the Civivi Elementum does. It feels like a Civivi. You have a 2.97-inch blade with a 3.94-inch handle, 9CR 18 MOV steel, which, as we all know, is a Civivi steel. 2.45 ounces, so very light in the pocket, and a price coming in at $42.50. So not too bad at all. It's cheaper than some Civivis. It's really kind of just average, though. This is one of those knives to where, like I said, it feels like a Civivi, but when you put it in the lineup with the Civivis, it's kind of an average design for me, and I think that may have even been why they made it in the Suncut series. I'm completely guessing here. That was just an initial thought that came to mind for me. But it's just an excellent little casual EDC. The micarta is pretty nice. It's not the best micarta in the world. There's parts of it that are maybe a little fuzzy, but I think at the same time, too, as you use it and the oils of your hands work into it, it's going to look a lot better. It's going to patina really good, I think. Very, very fidgety. Very fidgety. Get that blade down, and you can do the middle finger flick very well. You can also just, of course, do the regular flipper, and it feels good. You guys notice that it even sounds like a Civivi? It has that Civivi thwack. Very good on thumb studs. This knife, it really does. It operates very well on any opening method you can use it on, from the middle finger to the flipper to the thumb studs. It's just good. It's smooth. You can tell it's made by Civivi. It's got a pocket clip very similar to Civivi. The one thing that I think is a little, I don't want to say it's a hot spot, but this clip just really, the clip really sticks up, and the handle is so thin and narrow. When you're holding this in your hand, you really do kind of feel the clip more than you want, and the clip almost feels like a doubling of the handle thickness at the bottom, which is a little, it's a little interesting. I can't say I've ever quite felt a knife like that before, but this blade is such a good user blade. It has a great tip, has a good grind, nice slicey blade. It is definitely a Civivi. It's a Civivi with a Suncut name. But it's really good. I really do like it. Really glad you guys put it at #1 and put it in my list of knife to check out. Really happy about this. Gonna be a little sad to send this on to a new home, so I may have to pick one up myself. I don't know, but I really do like this. Coming in at #2, this is the Suncut Scepter. Now, #1, it kind of, you guys know what it's going to be. It is, of course, the CJRB feldspar. And before I go any further into this review, I do kind of have to specify, a lot of you guys may not know this unless you've been following the channel from the very beginning. This is the OG. This is the knife that started Wayne Sharp World. Not this exact knife. This knife, different style. The first episode I ever made on this channel was the CJRB feldspar in green micarta. So it was, I was weighted, I looked, I was like, if I'm going to start this channel, I want to have a nice budget knife to start this with. It's going to get a lot of people's attention. It's going to pull the views in. And I decided to go with the feldspar. I'm really happy I did. I still have that feldspar. I'm going to have it forever because it's got a little sentimental value. So I will say I'm a little partial to the feldspar design, but for good reasons. You have a very solid 3.53-inch blade with a 4.5-inch handle, D2 steel, which, as you guys know, it's not my favorite, but it's a really good user steel, if nothing else. 3.94 ounces and $34.99. Again, that CJRB, they have that really sweet price point between $30 and $40, usually mid-30s to low 30s on their knives, and they're just fantastic. They hold up well, they're built well. This one here, particularly the large feldspar, feels fantastic. It feels great in your hand. You even have this choily area. I don't know if it's a true designated finger choil, but I use it as one all the time because it fits really good in my finger. I can kind of pull back down on the front of the handle here, and there's no worry about cutting my finger. It just feels great. It's just an awesome knife. It's not the one I necessarily wanted to put #1 in this video because you can get it everywhere. You can't just get it. It's not like it's not like the Suncut Scepter to where you pretty much just Amazon. You can get these anywhere from Blade HQ to Knife Center to E-Knives to, gosh, all of them. All the knife retailers out there, GP Knives, so many of them carry this blade because it's a great one. It's an affordable one. Just a very, very solid offering. But it is available on Amazon, so you guys wanted it, I'm giving it to you, literally, kind of. The CJRB feldspar, it is just an absolutely fantastic model. Glad to have another one in hand, and it's worth noting that this one is just as good as my micarta version. Very, very nice. Quality's on point, detent's strong. Just a good one, the CJRB feldspar. So there you go, guys. There it is, ranked for you in order. Let's get them all out here again real quick. And then we got to give them away. How are we going to give these things away? I know. Let's do this. So Wayne Sharp World is obviously one of my passions is travel. I really enjoy traveling and seeing new places, experiencing new cultures, meeting new people. So there's a lot of places I still want to go to in my young life. And a lot of cities. So I want to know from you guys, what city, if you could go to one city in the world, what would it be? I need you to just specify the city, state, if applicable, or province, and country. Let me know in the comments where you guys want to go, what area you want to explore. I'm really interested to hear that. Travel's a very, very important subject to me. So I'm looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts on where you'd want to go in the world. Comment that city in the comments to enter yourself to win these knives. And in 1 week, about a week, I will be doing the drawing to give all 5 of these knives away to some lucky winners. So again, thank you guys for your continued support of the channel. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think. Get yourself entered to win. I look forward to hearing your comments in the cities you want to travel to. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next one, I'm out.